So I've seen a lot of people debating time to kill in Black Ops 4 and whether it's good or bad. I'm not going to focus on individual weapons too much because we don't have hard numbers yet, and we'll instead talk about what the time to kill was on average in the Black Ops 4 beta based on hand-tested numbers. I'll only be talking about the average because this number will surely change, if even by a little bit, when we get the hard stats from the full release, but also every single weapon will have an accurate way to calculate it when full damage and rates of fire numbers come out, which I will also be sharing with you in a future video. This average will also only include assault rifles, SMGs, and LMGs because unfortunately, calculating burst weapons and semi-automatic weapons is really unreliable by hand and could skew the results. I feel like those weapons will most likely be conforming to the average that we will see, and of course, we will have the full picture at launch. This video will mostly be discussing the time to kill and why this change may actually be a good thing for Call of Duty. In Black Ops 4, increasing the health to 150 doesn't increase time to kill by 50% just because its health is 50% higher than something like Black Ops 3. No. In fact, every Call of Duty has its own take on time to kill, and it's always a polarizing subject. Some people think it's too fast, some people think it's too slow. Black Ops 4 seems to have the slowest time to kill in Call of Duty ever, and this doesn't change the argument from what people are used to seeing. Some people like it, but some want it faster. One thing we will get out of the way immediately is that changing the health is an absolute no-go from a balance perspective. If that were to happen, then the delicate balance that has been fine-tuned with 150 health would have to start all over with every single weapon. Time to kill is not tied to health, it's tied to rate of fire and shots to kill. The 150 health is there to balance weapons and create meaningful gunplay that gives headshots a purpose. Sometimes a single headshot will reduce shots to kill by 1, but sometimes it will require a headshot with high caliber to reduce your headshots to kill by 1. When you think about the time it takes to kill, you should think about it in terms of body shots. That's the most common interpretation, and it's actually pretty useful for Black Ops 4 because there are a lot of opportunities for close quarters engagement, so you might not always have the opportunity to go for a headshot. The reason we do this is because it creates a standard by which to compare to other games as well as other weapons inside the same game. When it comes to comparing to past titles, it's helpful to see how time to kill has evolved over time. Comparing across weapons within the same game obviously allows for developers to be able to balance and players to be able to determine what fits their playstyle, or just plainly see which weapon kills the fastest. Now finally, let's talk about what the average is for Black Ops 4, at least what was calculated in terms of the automatic weapons. Attack rifles and pistols wouldn't be too far off from this average most likely, at least they shouldn't be considering this game did feel pretty balanced overall. So the average minimum time to kill I calculated was around 330 milliseconds. The final number will surely change a bit when all weapons are added to it, including burst weapons and semi-autos, but probably not in a significant way. That time to kill is actually pretty close to 50% higher than Black Ops 3. I feel like that's mostly just a coincidence, but it may indeed have been part of the design. The max time to kill average is around 452 milliseconds, which isn't anywhere near the 50% mark higher than the max in Black Ops 3. It is, however, pretty close to the same gap between minimum and maximum times to kill. Now, there are a few things to understand about time to kill. It assumes you hit every single shot you fire, starting with the first. This is where Black Ops 4 has done a great thing. You no longer get random recoil, so you can better control the gun you are firing, and weapons all seem more accurate in Black Ops 4 as well, and there is also no flinch when you are aiming down sights. These things combined make the time to kill in Black Ops 4 actually a pretty fair value. You'll be able to stay on target a lot easier than you have been in past titles, and will be a lot more consistent. Given the fact that headshots now matter and can even reduce your shots to kill by 1, it will be a viable and skillful strategy. We aren't burdened with randomized recoil or getting headshot by a person that you made flinch up into your head hitbox. When you think about it, they've only extended the time to kill by roughly 100 milliseconds, which is a tenth of a second and really not a big deal in the grand scheme of things. This increase will also cause the ratio of ping versus time to kill to be lower, which means less kills will be determined by a higher ping or lag than they would be with a lower time to kill. Think about it this way. With 150 millisecond time to kill, a 30 millisecond ping is 20% of that. With a 300 millisecond time to kill, a 30 millisecond ping is 10% of that. It may not be a big deal or even something you can perceive very well, but it will definitely have an impact, at least during online play. A lot more people seem supportive of this time to kill after having spent more time playing the beta. I myself think this is a really good change for Call of Duty. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.